Garage Talks. No. All right, so this is we're back in Savages in Sobriety, where we sit down and talk about sobriety, past, present, and future. I'm Chuck. This is my buddy Ed.
How's it going?
So let's just start off with a little introduction to who Ed is.
All right, for sure. Yeah, so I'm from Denver, Colorado. I grew up quick and I grew up mean. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Like I had a semi-normal childhood. I went to public school. Basically, never felt like I fit in. Started smoking weed and drinking, and all of a sudden, everything felt like it clicked. Same story like a lot of other people have told.
Yeah.
And from there, I was able to kind of just hold on to it for a while. But then something traumatic happened when I was 19. Basically, one of my friends slit my friend's throat and then attacked me with a knife.
Damn.
And I was in college at the time, and it gave me some severe PTSD.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I remember that was the moment where basically I went from experimenting with drugs to doing drugs in order to feel
cope.
Yeah, in order to cope with reality around me.
Right.
And the drugs changed. It went from ecstasy and mushrooms, and then after that event, it was more like opiates and alcohol. Things
absolutely.
To get me to stop feeling and thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I got into heroin, and when I was on heroin, I was a complete piece of shit, pretty much like every other heroin addict. We can all say that, we can say that word.
No, that's exactly, and that's that's one of my things that I want to accomplish with this is to let everybody know you're an addict. We know this. I'm an addict. He's an addict. Everybody, the vast majority of people that we know are addicts, but it's okay because our addictions don't make us who we are, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We live, we learn, we screw up.
Mm-hmm.
We get another chance, we screw up. We get another chance, we screw up.
Right.
Lucky enough to get another chance.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us are going to screw up. You know what I mean? I'm just shy of 40, and I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
Being sober this long has been 20 plus years in the making.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's not easy. It's really not, but it's possible.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? It absolutely is.
Yeah.
So without using specific numbers, how long you been sober?
Yeah, for sure. I can use numbers, basically I'm 7 years clean off heroin. And then after that, I was still doing everything except for opiates. That's the whole story. I quit heroin the day that my mother died. So basically I was I was boosting from stores and doing that whole thing, thinking I was gangster or whatever in my 20s. And then really the heroin just kept taking pieces away.
Yeah.
It wasn't, in the end, I was just a shell that was just trying to refuel with heroin, and, I stole jewelry from my mom, just all that stuff, and that I regret to this day. And basically my mom started dying, and when she was dying, I was trying to quit heroin, and I had moved back in with her in order to get through the withdrawals.
Mm-hmm.
And she started dying on that. It started on Thanksgiving, and then on Christmas, she left and went into a hospice. That was the last time I ever saw her at home, was Christmas Day. And for 6 weeks, she was dying, and I was basically coming off of heroin, and all the family showed up, and it was just a big old mess. And basically, when she died, I vowed to her that I would never use heroin again.
Yep.
And it's one of the promises that I've kept.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bravo. Well, that's inspirational, dude, because that's crazy, because your story to this point is so similar, bro. So similar. That's, I was a rebellious kid, weed, alcohol, just living life. Never really touched anything serious until my 30s.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Well, late 20s, early 30s. But, just rebelling, getting to that point. And then I found out my dad was sick, and, I was out on the road at that time. So, I didn't have a whole lot of opportunity to be, you know, in town. And I mean, I'll tell you right, I don't think I could have seen him like that. You know what I mean? I just don't. But then my sister, you know, she told me, she's like, he's, you know, not doing good. So I'm like, you know what, I'm say my goodbyes. So I was on my way to the hospital when I got that call. You know what I mean? And from that point, I, you know, made a promise not only to myself, but through my dad, never touching that shit again. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not going to happen, you know? And I've been clean off of clear since late August. Yeah, it was August because he passed at 23rd. So it was like the 25th of August last year. So, and I'll never go back. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's shit's crazy. So the struggles now, you know, I mean, idle hands, triggers, you know, the threat is real, right? What would be one positive method that you could, you know, share that you use personally
to stay sober?
Yeah, well, to overcome triggers and stay sober.
For sure. So I have a history of, I've done like a lot of different pathways. I've been to 12 steps groups. I'm not going to say any of their names just because that's one of the traditions is basically to remain anonymous, you know. But this time around, actually, I just tried something different, you know, and I tried like smart recovery. And basically for me, it's like a simple thing of identifying triggers, you know, in the sense that like when it's happening, you know, like for instance, one of my biggest triggers is I'll be throwing something out in the trash. And if there's a beer in the trash, it's like a flash in my brain, like, whoa, and I can taste that fucking 211. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can taste it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so that would be one thing. And then another. Oh, sorry. And then another would be essentially for me, it's goals, short and long-term goals, because you know, I was highly motivated when I was on heroin. When I was on heroin, we had like 5 people, and I was like, how am I going to make $500 a day? All right, let's figure this out. Right. You know, so like for me, it's like having these goals in sobriety, because as soon as I don't, I feel like this is my personal theory. Like recovering addicts and alcoholics, they're either going up or they're going down. There's no flat plane for us. Yep. So we got to be building up to the next step. It's like climbing this mountain, you know? Yeah. And then we get to the top of that, and we got to climb to the next, you know? Yeah, absolutely. And so basically, it's like short and long-term goals. And then, as you say all the time as well, it's just playing the tapes of the future. Just like reminding myself of the consequences of what my actions would do to my future and to the people who care about me, you know? Yeah, absolutely. So like, yeah, sure, I want to drink, but do I want to sleep outside in the snow with nowhere to go? Or do I want to end up like at a homeless shelter having to keep a knife on me? All that stuff doesn't sound fun, you know? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I'm huge on that. Playing the tapes, man. Is it worth it? You know, I'll get in a situation, you know, just not too long ago, I was feeling down and out. I just felt like I wasn't making any progress. I wasn't getting anything out of, my hopeful employer. It seemed like everything was so stale that there was nowhere to go. What's the point? Well, it's simple. You stop. So the sisters actually pause, pray, proceed. You pause, take a deep breath, think about it. Is it worth it? What do I have now that I could lose that I'm not ready to lose? Well, I've learned that living minimally, as far as materialistic things go, life is much simpler, much simpler. At the same time, the brothers that I've gained from the houses, my church, I've gotten a better relationship with my kids, my mom, my sisters, my ex-wife. Life is good. You know what I mean? Yeah. And to just take the time and stop, take a deep breath. You know what I mean? But then this is also coming from a couple of guys that got a few months under our belt. If you had a positive affirmation for somebody who is sitting in the shit right now with nothing
to gain, nothing to lose.
I would just say, just being real, you know, I'm not going to give like some fluffy fluff that doesn't like, isn't meaningful. What I would say is everything is temporary.
Yep.
Like even this pain I'm going through right now in these withdrawals is temporary, you know? And if I was right on the edge of like thinking about quitting, I would just, yeah, I would say that, you know, I know I'm going to go through those withdrawals, but it's temporary. And also, you know, especially with opiates, the withdrawals last so long, but every day gets a little better, you know? And before you know it, you know, I remember like when I quit heroin, like 6 months later, I really felt like I was never going to feel normal again. You know, like from the post-acute withdrawal syndrome, I was insomnia, like depression. I just didn't like have any like joy, you know? And about a year later, after a year, like I felt completely normal again, you know? So like if anybody's going through that, like quitting methadone or anything like that, like you will feel normal again, you know? It just takes some time. Everything is temporary, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, you know, 1,000%. The pain aspect, I mean, pain is pain, for me. The mental side, on the other hand, you're worth it. You're absolutely worth it. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you've done, you're worth it. You have to want it, you know. Life is too short to regret. Life is too short to hate. You know, you don't have to have everything in the world. You don't have to have all the people in the world. You don't have to have that. None of that's necessary. All you have to have is the want. You know what I mean? And that's, you know, when I started, I was coming straight out of jail.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like literally, I went from jail to my sister's straight into the program.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm not, you know, after the 18 months, you know, I did a year before that, I was like, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So, you know, the biggest thing is reaching for help. Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody needs help. Everybody. Don't believe me? Read the Bible. It'll tell you right there. Even the biggest people on earth, the most important people, the most powerful people need help.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? And mm-hmm. that's the first step to recovery is meaning you have a problem.
Yeah. And the opposite of addiction is community. So it's finding a community of like-minded people, you know, and we're out here. It can be anything. It can be a chess club, you know, mm-hmm. Or there's all sorts of different types of groups. There's Buddhist-based groups. Dharma recovery is almost national now. So there could be a Dharma recovery in your city. And yeah, you know, you are worth it basically, for sure. And it's like this, why be a statistic, you know, like why be a pawn? Like,
right.
You know, all of us got into this being rebellious, but in the end, like, is it, you know, like what I'm saying is
right,
like,
absolutely.
Who's really like dropping all the fentanyl on the streets, you know, like honestly, you know,
right, exactly. Well,
real.
The streets are winning, man.
Yeah.
Like they really are. You know, not just in, you know, the drug game, but in, you know, I just saw 138,000 people died last year because of alcohol-related accidents, not just car accidents.
Yeah.
You know, people being fucked up and, you know, dying just trying to walk home or, you know, fights or, I mean, just the streets are winning, man. Mm-hmm. They really are.
And they're just getting rougher and crazier too.
Dude, it's getting wicked out there, bro.
Yeah.
It really is. Like every time, you know, I'm, you know, out there, you know, doing my thing, I'll like going to the Salvation Army down there.
Mm.
Man, it's bad over there, bro. Like it's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, for sure.
So what, I know we play pool every day. It's awesome. And we talk a lot about, you know, where we are right now. Where do you see yourself at the first of the year? So that's a month and a half from now.
Yeah. So the first of the year, I should be off my felony probation. You know, basically, it's a long story of how I got this felony. It was second-degree assault on a police officer. And basically, I was traveling across the country, some dude tried to steal my dog. I didn't want the dude to steal my dog. The cops like took the dude's side. So I reacted, you know, and then before I knew it, I was fighting all these like secondary assaults on a police officer. It happened when I was in handcuffs. So like, I don't really know how you can feloniously assault a police officer in handcuffs, but hey, you know, but
shit happens,
yeah,
right?
I accept it. I accept the felony. It's my first felony in my life. And so like basically it's been a trying year, and I've tried to, I just knew I had to get sober because if I got in any more trouble, I was going to go to prison, and I didn't want to go to prison. So I went into like a long-term rehab, like a 6-month rehab in Denver, ended up in a sober living. And then I fell off the rails for about a month in Aurora, the streets of Aurora, almost got killed. Almost. And finally ended up in a detox, and then literally moved towns from Denver to Colorado Springs, and ended up in this sober living. Good thing I paused. I didn't need to pause at the time.
No, that's
but then
good.
it ended up being the right time.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Yeah. And so in 6 weeks from now, I should be off probation. I'm also doing my classes for getting a driver's license, my level 2 education. So I'm doing that, and I'm hoping by summer of next year I'll have a traveling vehicle, basically, because I was hitchhiking around for a few years, and like I did Dead Tour for a couple years, and basically I just enjoy being in the middle of nowhere. I just enjoy like having your dog and just being in nature, but like I want to do that without drinking, you know, because after I quit the heroin, it was alcohol for me, alcohol and meth. You know, I was drinking and doing meth, and every time I picked up that meth pipe, I went to jail. Yeah. Every time.
Same.
Like sooner or later, you know, like eventually, like you pick up the meth pipe, you're like, this is going to lead to jail. In fact, the last time, I'm pretty sure I was like, I grabbed the first hit, and I was like, this leads to jail every time. Oh, it won't this time, you know? Like, ta-da! Yeah. And yeah, so basically there is a way, you know, and it's one day at a time. And also I just want to say that like we're not like cured. Like what I'm saying is it's like it's a daily struggle, and there's waves, you know, because this is reality. So like but it's about us being there for each other, you know. They did this like experiment with rats and cocaine, right? Or maybe it was heroin.
No, it was cocaine.
Yeah, and
yeah, the one with the water bowl.
Yeah, well, yep. And there was one rat with a water bowl, and when it was just one rat, it would, or mouse, you know, like a lab mouse or whatever, it would go to the cocaine before food and water, and it would eventually die from a cocaine overdose. But, and so for years and years, people thought like that basically cocaine, that addiction was like something it's not. So, but then they found that if they have this, like, they call it like a rat, they call it like the rat heaven or something, or like, basically like if they have like all these mice together, and they're mating, and like there's always like cool things that they can like run, and like little tunnels that they're running through, and there's a big group of them, and the cocaine water in there. They don't choose the cocaine water. They choose the regular water and the regular food. So the conclusion is they figured out community.
Yes.
This is new science too, but
yeah, this is pretty recent.
Yeah, in the last 10 years. Community is the opposite of addiction.
Absolutely.
Addiction is isolation. I mean, even if like we feel like we're hanging out with a lot of people because we're doing dirt or some shit, like it ends up being just you and that needle, and you know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So community is the opposite of addiction. So it's just about finding just a community, you know? Even if you know, so there's sober livings all across the country that you can go to. A lot of them with Medicaid now.
Yep.
So like, for instance, if you're in California, this is in Cali too. If you're in California or Colorado, I know those two states for a fact, you can get on Medicaid and get into a Medicaid sober living, and the Medicaid will pay for your sober living for the first 2 months.
Yep.
So you can get right up off the street right now. Like there is totally a way.
When in, not only that, there's you know, since I've been in this program, I've come across a lot of detox and rehabilitation centers that, you know, take you fresh off the street, you know, give you the whatever 30, 60, 90 day. I actually just recently found 2 behavioral health communities that do the same thing. So, you know, if you're a little deeper than, just the self-medication, there's help everywhere. And then on that note, I'm working on getting permissions and flyers and stuff like that. So then maybe not this video, maybe not the next one, but my website that I'm working on will have links for resources for outreach and things of that nature. And then on the same note, if you reach out to me, then I can also help you individually with resources and, outreach and stuff like that. So on that note, why don't you leave us with your the quote that hits you the hardest?
Oh, a quote?
Yep. Whatever it may be. What quote touches you?
Yeah. All right.
Come on, Deadhead. I know you got a good one.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a Jerry quote.
Let's hear it.
Jerry Garcia, there's a reason that all these people followed him across the country. I mean, he was just a cool dude. And Jerry said a lot, but he said, one of his most important things that he said to me is, all I want to know is, are you kind?
Like it.
And I really feel like everybody could be kinder to each other. And if they were, it'd be a better world. It would just be that fast, Yep. So next time you see somebody just on the street, maybe give them the dollar. What I'm just saying is, if everybody was just a little kinder to each other, then other people would show kindness. It would become exponential.
Yep.
And everybody would get lifted up instead of pushing each other down.
Well, and that's the thing about kindness. Kindness is addictive, and it's contagious.
Right.
You know what I mean? It really is. And I've seen it personally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I appreciate that. Well, thank you, Ed.
Yeah, sure thing.
Thanks for coming on.
Cool.
Maybe have you out here again.
Yeah.
It'll be in a different setting, but we'll definitely get you on again.
For sure.
Appreciate you.
And if y'all want to listen to my music, it's Ramble Zamble on YouTube.
I'll put a link in the description.
Yeah, and we'll continue to be a traveling troubadour. One love, fans, and one love all. Peace
Absolutely. Out. Appreciate you guys. And again, like I said, you're worth it. Don't ever give up. Ever. For any reason, you are worth it. Just remember that.
You're worth it.
Love and peace. Thank you, guys.
I love you. You're cooler than me, dude.